Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's big patch time. I got no idea what this, how big this patch is, but they said it was big. They said it was big in the shenanigans, on the Twitters, on the Instagrams. Welcome, heroes, to another exciting update for Age of Mythology Retold, featuring a wide range of gameplay improvements, balance adjustments across multiple civilizations, and continued refinements to stability and performance. This patch also brings updates to visual, audio, UI, and hotkeys, along with quality of life fixes, campaign improvements, and ongoing support for modding and tools. As always, take a moment to explore the full notes before jumping back into the game and experiencing the latest changes firsthand. Thanks again to our amazing community members. That's you guys, all of whom have helped make Age of Mythology Retold a success thus far. Thank you, Age of Mythology team. Okay. Ultimate Fan Pack, new edition. Recently, the last of the announced monthly Pantheon pinup challenges was completed. Players have regularly asked whether there is a way to access the months they missed. You can now unlock all 12 Pantheon pinup portraits by owning the Ultimate Fan Pack. So a little bit more value in that fan pack for those of you who weren't around and don't have them. Isn't that? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So all of the 12 things. We did already see in the game that they removed the community tab, so it doesn't look like we've got any more community sort of goals or anything like that, but maybe they'll add it back later when they come up with something new. Who knows? A reminder that replays are not compatible between patch updates. Replays are not compatible because the simulation logic changes in ways that cause replays to no longer run synchronously with their original behaviors. Thank you, developer notes. Stability and performance, minor general improvements to stability, small performance and memory gains from a swap to use DDS textures for the UI. I don't know what any of this means. Popcorn VFX simulations. Okay. Fix to crash. That's all. Seeing all the stuff with the fixes of crashes and out of syncs and all that stuff looks great. Graphics. Added a unique variation to the shrine for the Aztecs. Players with the Blood and Bones pack can now view it in an alternate, bloodier appearance. Okay. Fantastic. Fixed the situation where the To the Moon cheat could leave trees levitating in view. And okay. Purge God powers fixed. The slimy cloth. Anything here that's worth reading? VFX for each restores hammer hand attack. Props. Small locks. Okay. Earth monster. Okay. I don't think there's anything here that is... Obviously, it's all good, but I don't really see anything that's exciting, unless I missed anything. Units that were building something when a lullaby was cast, someone else wants an idle animation. Okay. Okay, I don't care about this. I don't care. Oh, hotkeys. Select all melee infantry on-screen variants. Select all melee cavalry on-screen variants. Select all raiding cavalry and on-screen variants. Oh, sorry, ranged cavalry. Ooh! I don't think that helps me. I need a like ranged and anti-ranged, like a counter-ranged hotkey and a ranged hotkey, specifically for the Chinese. Like I'm making fire archers and I'm making javeliniers. I need one for both of those. But anyways, let's keep going. Fixed a bug where pre-queue. Okay. UI, DDS. Okay, I don't think any of this stuff is relevant to me. We can learn about that by actually playing and seeing it. I want to get down to the gameplay. Fixes. Melee units commanded to attack a target by the player will now more reliably pursue their intended target. Previously, they were sometimes distracted by attacking targets that happened to bump into along the way. Holy crap, holy. What an insane change. This could be huge. It could also have a million different bugs. Yeah, this might be more reminiscent of what it was like on Legacy to some degree. But we'll see. Fixed queued movement for relics. Okay, good. Modified free-for-all mode behavior in skirmishes. Fixed a bug that caused jump attackers to become stuck walking in place. Bellerophon is usable again. Placement of Plenty Vault, Goshenboku, and Sacred Gate God Powers now requires a minimum distance away from any other of these indestructible types of buildings. Nice. Fixed a bug that was causing Tonali to be incorrectly calculated in many situations where any modifiers were supposed to be applied. For example, the Shorn ones were providing an incorrect quantity of Tonali. Shorn ones, myth units, and that's cool. So you will be getting a lot more favor as the Aztecs now from your Tonali, I think. Specifically from myth units and when using the Shorn ones as Huitzilopochtli. Fixed a bug that was causing units with auto-gather type actions to start counting from the time when the building was first placed as a foundation instead of waiting until after they were fully built. This fixes the bug that causes the completion of a wonder or Egyptian monument to award favor based on the time since the foundation was placed upon completion. I know exactly what that is. Nice one, Automaton. Fixed pausing behaviors during replays and spectating. Pausing a replay and then navigating to a pop-up will no longer unpause the replay. If you enter a pop-up during replay, the game will pause. And only unpause if you are not. Okay, that's really nice. Thank you. That one was really annoying. Resigning while paused will now force the game to unpause. Beautiful. Fixed a bug that caused bounty multipliers to be ignored if they were less than 1.0. This bug was only an issue for the Norse favor generation. Norse now correctly gains less favor in some situations. When attacking a building, they will only gain 10% of the normal favor. When attacking a building that shoots, they will gain 50% of the normal favor instead of the normal 10%. When attacking a huntable, they will only gain 50% of the normal favor. It is correct for Norse villagers to gain a high return of favor on damage due to their 4x multiplier. This was causing excessive gain when paired with the missing 10% reduction while attacking a building. In the example of attacking a temple, Norse villagers were gaining 0.18 favor per hit compared to the 0.006 for a Hersa. Fixed a bug that prevented Obsidian Shard units from spawning random Aztec myth units. Yes, we can play Tezcatlipoca. Let's go. Kusanagi, what that means is now we're going to be seeing all 3 of the classical age myth units, all 3 of the heroic age myth units, and all 3 of the mythic age myth units. Kusanagi no longer throws dead units that have the huntable unit type. And the tournament players rejoice, as well as Boit does, because he doesn't have to make any rules about this in his handbook. Love it. Okay, it is now possible to set rally points for the infested den, spawned by the infestation god power. This patch is such a win so far. Like, such a win. Are you kidding me? Infested den spawned by the infestation god power so that your spawned large scorpions will follow the instructions you have set for them. Okay, guys, lashing roots, don't care. Fixed a bug. Sorry, this is about the game mode that I don't play. Fixed a bug that caused the Ayotochli to damage units. Actually, I got rabbit. Okay. And whatever guys lashing roots is, it's fixed. The ability damage factor has been adjusted to account for this change. Fixed a bug that caused the Ayotochli to damage. Okay. Fixed a bug that caused the lure god power to not end when the stone was destroyed. Queuing a Kalpuli transformation will now cancel all other pre-queued. Nice. Fixed a bug for the old Coyote Spirit technology bonus for the Genekwi units and traps in general. Traps are no longer destroyed by stray projectiles. Projectiles will only hit traps if the trap was the intended target of the attack. Traps now stealth on birth to avoid being momentarily visible. Attack revealers no longer reveal traps. Traps spawned by the Genekwi deaths when the technology's researchers are allowed to overlap. Traps are also allowed to overlap other scenery when spawned from the Genekwi death. Cool. Pillar of Silocan now correctly restricts when manually casting. Buildings such as the Aztec Trap now require you to complete the construction to activate abilities. Applied in a minor hotfix between the patches. Nice. And villagers who are fully committed to their devotion are no longer selectable to prevent unintended interactions. That was already done. Pantheon changes. This is the balance section, guys. We're going in. We're going in. Some larger units have had their collision size slightly reduced. Titan adjusted as follows. Hit points increased from 28,000 to 30,000. Damage increased from 70 hack, 70 crush to 80 hack, 80 crush. And special attack damage from 180 to 200 hack. So a hefty buff there to the Titan. We notice the Titans are not frequently used in games. So these changes aim to make them a little more viable given how cool they are. Yeah, I think this is fine. But the if the goal is to make the time, I personally don't particularly see the issue with the amount of play the Titans seeing. But if the goal would be to make the Titans be seen more, you probably want to make the build time go down on the Titan gate. The big cost for the Titan is actually the resources lost while building that Titan. That's generally why. But anyways, Atlatl of Ecatl Relic adjusted as follows. Siege crossbows is now also affected, or Yumi is now affected. Fantastic. Demeter gets some fixes in Deathmatch. Aztec also gets some fixes in Deathmatch. Greek Pantheon. Hades. Sentinel God power adjusts as follows. Cost increase from 50 to 60. Repeat cost from 5 to 10. Myth unit hit point bonus changed from 15% to 4% per age. What? People weren't building myth units anyways. Who was asking for this change? I'm just kidding. It's fine. 4% per age means in the mythic age, you're actually going to have more, right? Or is that wrong? 4% in the classical age, 4% in the archaic age, 4% in the archaic age, 4% in the classical age, 12% in the heroic age, 16% in the mythic age. So your Colossus are going to be stonking. All right. Athena. Labyrinth of Minotaur hit points increased from 30% to 35%, so a boost to the Minotaurs. Pestilence reduces reigning time 50% to 60%, boost to Ares with Pestilence. Earthquake, a boost to the Earthquake epicenter radius. This just means you're going to be getting more overall damage done, and that's a decent amount of size there. And the middle zone also increased. So yeah, you're going to get more damage output with the Earthquake. Beast Slayer technology now also gives heroes plus 10% movement speed. That's actually quite a significant boost there to that technology. Sounds good. Cyclops hit points increased from 600 to 630. Holy boost. Now, they did take Hades's Cyclops down a peg in the classical age, but they basically gave it back here. So I think the idea here, and they also gave it back in here, right? So I think that the idea here for the Hades is that they still want these myth units to be strong, but they want them to be stronger for Zeus and for Poseidon as well. So that was the way around it, I believe. They took some power out of this and they put it into this, and obviously straight into the Cyclops. All right, Lycaon now go from population cost from 3 to 2. Lycaon's wolf bonus damage multiplier versus heroes increase from 0.25x to 0.5x. So they're doing more damage versus heroes, or normal damage versus heroes. And the population going from 2 to 2 is just a nicety. You still want to get rid of these once you get to 100 pop, but a little bit less pop is nice. For the Lycaon there, Hydra collision as goes down. Did they say something about this in the developer notes? I'm not exactly sure what this means. I think this is for the box formation bugs. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it's for. And it should help you not get those box formation bugs. I think that's what it is. Anyways, Chimera, Artemis, damage increase from 20 to 28. Special attack damage more. Special attack range more. Guys, Artemis is on the table. Artemis is going to be bonkers. Hades Artemis with that 16%. Get that extra 1% HP. Hells yeah. Hammer Dryad! Hammer Dryad. The Hammer Dryad is in. Special attack damage reduced from 150 pierce, 40 divine, to 50 pierce, 25 divine. An absolute demolishment of the special attack damage there. Special attack now has a 2x bonus versus myth units and an 0.5x bonus versus heroes. Special attack now also applies a 3-second stun to all affected targets. So all of this power taken out and applied to the stun. So instead of it being like a one hit and it's over, it's a huge nuke of 50 PS, 25 divine, and 3 seconds of stun for you to kill everything. So you still got to fear the Hammer Dryad, but it's not going to be able to wander in. Actually, it's still going to be able to wander in and kill a villager, I think. I think it's still going to be able to one-bang those villagers, unless I'm missing something. Damage adjusted 16 hack, 16 crush, 30 PS, 10 crush. So it's actually a pretty decently strong damage dealer as well. PS armor, survivability goes down. Cost goes down. So loses 5 favor and the 150 wood, 100 gold is shifted into wood, taken away from the gold, so it does make it cheaper. Obstruction radius from there down, and fix the selection circle to better match the unit size. Yeah, I think that this unit is going to be still very, very strong. It's not going to do that one hitting shenanigans, but 3 seconds stun is huge. And it can still, I think it can still kill the villagers there. That's like effectively 100 pierce damage onto a villager, which kills it. Anyways, Siren, cost reduced. Lure range increased. That's a big cost reduction. We weren't seeing anyone building this. I'm not sure we're going to see anyone building it still. I think it still needs a little bit more love, but becoming cheaper means people might try it. Orpheus has a damage increase, but a ranged reduce from 18 to 12. Damage bonus multiplier versus myth units increase from 6.5 to 9x. So it's going to be doing a ton more damage. A ton more damage, but it's got to get closer range. Bard of Heroes, so the passive ability, takes the units from 5x down to 2.5x, so a significant reduction there. But the ability radius goes up by 5. So a huge amount more units are going to be affected by Bard of Heroes. So it's a smaller bonus, but more units are going to be affected. Orpheus is doing more damage to myth units by himself. It has less range, and the movement speed goes down by 0.1. Interesting. All right. Icarus, area damage radius removed. Attacks are now single target. Wow. That was something that I think everybody was saying is really, really stupid about Icarus. So that's going to be good. And and giving some power back there means damage change from 8 pierce, 5 crush up to 14 pierce. So attack range reduced, line of sight reduced, damage bonus versus myth units goes up. I'm like 95% sure this is now doing more damage to myth units. I think this unit is still going to be a very, very formidable raider, and even more so now in a way. 14 pierce means I fly over to your villages, and I think I have to attack the villager like 5 times to be able to kill it. Something like 5 times, 5 attacks without survival equipment. But it's not going to kill all of your villagers. It's just one at a time. So you can run away from it and escape. Okay, Katoskopos gets some line of sight. That's nice. Myrmidon gets a little bit of HP. The best infantry unit in the game gets a little bit of extra HP. Please use this unit so that they feel like it's good and they need to stop buffing it. Stop not using this unit. It's very good. It's a very strong unit. It's well worth building. Please use it. All right, Heliopolis. Collision size also reduced. All right, Ra. Rain. Duration increased from 45 to 50 seconds. So more value. And also fishing ships gathering rate goes up by plus 50%. Okay. Someone do the quick math. Let's just call the fishing ship is doing 0.5. So I'm getting each fishing ship for 50 seconds is at 0.25. Let's do the quick math. Quick math. So 0.25 times 50 is 12.5. Each fishing ship will get 12.5 food extra. 12.5 food extra. So if I have, I just literally deleted my calc. Let me get that back. If I've got 12.5 times 20, I will get 250 food from that rain. So it'll be just a little bit of something for Ra to actually have an effect for rain on a map like Midgard. On Mirage, you probably want to build farms as well because only 9 fishing ships. Not going to be that big of a difference, but that's a nice little help. Priest build speed for obelisks reduced from 60% to 40%. This is probably only going to affect top players because this, like, realistically, the only people doing this is like the Mister and other top 10 players. Spamming obelisks around the map is super valuable, so it's just going to slow that down. And now set changes. Classical Age. 1 less hyena. 1 less gazelle. 1 less crocodile. 1 less giraffe. 1 less rhinoceros. 1 less hippopotamus. However, set animals are now cheaper. I'm actually excited to try this now. I'm excited to try this. Give me my hunt strat back. It wasn't worth it before. I don't know if it's worth it now, but I'm definitely going to give it some go. And we're going to start going into a huge amount of Gazelle of Set. Auto queue Gazelle of Set for the dub. All right. Shifting more power budget to actually summoning animals. Yeah, because this wasn't done. The other one I want to try is give me my Crocodile of Set shifting sands all in back. That one's going to be an interesting one. We'll see if that's going to work. Okay. Harako Sphinx gets reduced in wood as the research time also goes down. I don't mind this. This was a little expensive. It was a little, I don't think it was impossible to play for Sphinx, but it was definitely costly to go down them, and making it a little bit more accessible is probably better, because the Sphinx needs this upgrade to function. Without this upgrade, there's no point in building the Sphinx. So yeah, making that one a nice one is good. Okay, so the Wadget gets a little bit more pierce armor and hit points. I like that. That's nice. The Wadget, like, people build like ranged heroes, like for example, Greek, get a ranged hero in and they just kill off the Wadget, and a little bit more survivability for them is nice. Scarabs get some more movement speed, hack armor, special attack, damage bonus multiplier versus buildings is removed and just gets more damage. So the Scarabs have seen some buffs over the years, but have never really caught on as a power unit. These changes aim to really make the Scarab a more viable strategy. We're just going to have to try doing some non-cheese strats with the Scarabs. I think that's going to be a good idea. Some non-cheese strats with the Scarabs is going to be good. We'll try. All right, we move down. Obelisk's build time reduced from 16 to 12. So if we walk back up here to the Isis one, it did say here is that the base build time goes down. I thought this was a nerf. It's not a nerf. Never mind. I should read the developer notes. My bad. Watchtower cost reduced from 100 wood, 100 gold to 50 wood, 100 gold. This will help a lot with dealing with the Chronos Rush, I think. You can probably go pickaxe, watchtowers. Just grab 50 wood, get watchtowers. It's fine. Probably should be doing that anyways. All right, Loki, Eyes in the Forest. Now also grants a 5% speed boost to heroes. Where is Ragnarok's? The heroes will be booking it. I think with Hall of Thanes, they're at 5.2 speed, plus another extra 5%. I think they go up to 5.5. They're going to be speedy. Holy moly. It does go up in cost, but they're going to be speedy. Speedy, speedy, speedy. All right. Forest Fire now has a minus 25% damage bonus multiplier versus town centers. This is to help out team games because people were going Gaia Forest, Forest Fire onto a town center. And I believe this was even banned in a tournament. It might be able to get unbanned if it's not going to kill the town center. It should be a viable strategy. Like if it's not broken, it should be unbanned. So the administrators there have to reconsider their stance against this very, very important team game strategy. All right. Myth units. Troll. More hit points. Thank you. This unit was dying way too fast and not really doing enough. Fafnir. Just a little bit of a collision thing. Berserk. Get more line of sight. Ox carts are cheaper. 40 food, 40 wood. Wait. Does that mean the Loki ox carts are like 20 food, 20 wood? Hit points also reduced so they can get killed quicker. Fair enough. We might see some Loki spammage of ox carts, but with 80 losing all that HP, there it's fine. Okay, now we go to the Chronos. Speed of all buildings reduced from 50% to 100% of the build time. Concurrent time shifts increased from 1 to 2. Wow. What the wow? So let me just get this straight. The Chronos Rush is dead because the temple won't be able to time shift in time. It takes 1 minute to get to the classical age. And it's going to take, at the moment, it's 40 seconds. Wait, am I wrong on this? Oh, the temple was already at 100% before. Okay, never mind. Temple. Wait, is it does it say it here? No. Okay, it's fine. Cronus Rush is still here. I thought it was killed. I thought someone took a dagger out and they were like, no more aggression. Temporal Chaos now also reduces the time shift speed from 100% to 50%. Nice. And also is a little bit cheaper. Yeah, this is my favorite technology as Cronus, and I never grab it because it's too cost prohibitive and I need to spend all my resources elsewhere. As soon as I get it though, it's like, let me spam. It's good fun. All right, Spider Lair now goes up in cost. People complaining about Spider Lair being too strong now. Of course, they're not going to revert a change because they wanted the change in for a reason. So they say we'll compromise and make it a little bit more expensive. It's still very, very strong. I still recommend playing Leto. Bite of the Shark has been nerfed. 0.25 to 0.2 for 3 seconds. So that's 0.6 now. Instead of 0.75 DPS increase for the Murmillo in divine damage. It's now 0.6 divine damage for that for every attack. Of course, it takes 3 seconds, but that's how I think about it. Same for the Murmillo hero. Behemoth also changed. Carbalister hero adjusts attacks to match that of the base Carbalister. Okay. And Oracles move faster. Are you kidding me? Oracles move faster. We're supposed to be nerfing Atlanteans. What the hell? I'm just kidding. A little bit more movement speed, a little bit more ability to keep them safe when your opponent's trying to snipe them and run around the map and kill you. If you see someone coming in, you've got at least a chance now to get to somewhere safe and they miss you. All right. China, new bar, drought. Now also reduces enemy land unit max HP by 10% for the duration. Now, I'm not sure how this works. Whether it's while on top of the drought, if I move off the drought, if I get that HP back, or if it's just splat onto all the units, they all lose 10% until the duration is over. Maybe someone in the chat can test that / tell me, can I run from it and get the HP back, or should I run for the entire duration? I'm not sure. Rock solid. No longer increases myth unit armor when idle. Myth units now reflect 5 hack damage to the melee attackers. It should only be units on the terrain. Okay, so if you run away, then you avoid the thing. Okay, fantastic. Myth units now reflect 5 hack damage to melee attackers. That's kind of wild, right? I come in with a Hearser and I'm trying to kill your dudes. Do I take 5 hack or do I take 2.5? This is myth unit. I have to do some testing. All right. Chong-Chi, damage increase from 16 hack, 6 crush, 16 hack, 7 crush. A little bit of a boost there. You Q adjust as follows. Now starts with the autocast. Thank you. Yeah, this is the hardest part about this unit. It's really, really insanely strong. But nobody understands it's strong because it dies for like 99% of the player base before it even gets an attack off. Because it uses the special ability, which takes like 3 seconds to use. Everyone gets shielded, and then it starts doing its actual crazy damage. Now, you have the choice to drop it whenever you want. But you just auto-attack. If I auto-attack, I want my guy doing damage, right? So you just click the button when you want to put the shield onto everyone, and then you attack move or whatever, and it's fine. Dow Swordsman up to 4.0. Young Oath. He's a happy man. Everyone else is going to be running in absolute fear of the Dow Swordsman. This thing is an absolute menace. I'm really hoping we're going to see some non-fast mythic gameplay from Chinese players. Yeah, I know that this unit's really good already. A lot of people don't like it because it's very cumbersome, very slow. But there already have been some really good situations for the Dow Swordsman to come early. Now those situations just become better, and maybe some new situations are going to arise. So that'll be interesting. The Sky Lantern lifespan increased from 30 to 33 seconds. That's just a nicety. I think more scouting, better scouting is better for the game. It's one thing to try and do, like the whole thing about scouting is, it's one thing to have a strategy and actually try and hide what you're doing and then hit your opponent and surprise them. But it's another thing to say, I can't scout, period, because I have no chance to, and you're not even trying to hide it. You're just doing strategy X and I can't figure out what it is because I can't scout. So all of these little bits of scouting boosts, I think is good for the game, if you know what I mean. All right, Susanoo. Myth unit passive Bushido XP adjusts as follows. Everything up. Also, unit special attack recharge time reduction increased from -25% to -33%. That's a huge buff to the Oni, right? A huge buff to the Oni. Also, the Raiju, the Juragumo, the one Yudo doesn't get a buff there. The Asura doesn't get a buff, I think. The Shinigami gets a huge buff there. Shinobi and Samurais also get a buff there. All right. Other God Power favor cost reduction reduced from -25% to 20% when a God Power is cast. I was kind of hoping that would say 0%. And just put a big fat line through that bonus, but that's just me. But anyways, Susanoo has been successful specializing. I can't speak. I can't read either. Successful specifically utilizing its cheaper God Power casting. These changes them to diversify his power budget a little more to other avenues. Yeah, I really do like the Myth unit angle here. I hope this is going to be something you do. You want to get Myth units out faster. That gives you more Bushido, which gives you more Bushido stipends, which gives you more Myth units. I am going to be doing my full Raiju strategy and never stopping. All right. Inari Orkami comes in with Ivory Netsuke. This one nerfed, also cheaper. So taking a little bit of the overall power away from this thing. It's very, very strong. I think it's going to be, I think this technology will be strong anywhere between, I think it'll be strong even at 0.2 gold per damage dealt. So 0.3, it's definitely good. Definitely strong, definitely good. So still grab this one. Okay, Oni Mask, cost reduced from 125 favor, 25 favor to 18 favor. So a big boost to Fujin. And Gale's Fury. Well. Susanoo just got a little bit of a boost there for Fujin. And we're going to finally see people going for the Oni. No, we're going to see them going for the Bow Archer. They're just going to go for the Horse Archer. All right, Thunderburst. Damage reduced from 12 to 11 Divine. That's a nerf. It's small, but I think it's substantial, right? If you hit someone, it's 4 Divine, right? On top, or is it even 5? Really not sure. Anyways, Hachiman Shogun goes up in damage, up in bonus damage versus myth units, and down to 6 times for more samurai. Pretty big boost to the Shogun there. Dragon Typhoon, initial damage reduced from 15 Divine per 0.01 seconds to 10 Divine per 0.05 seconds. I'm not sure what that means, to be honest. I'm not sure what that means. Of course, it's a nerf, but I don't know what it means. If someone can give me like damage per second, that could be easier for me to understand, but it is a pretty big nerf there. Bonus damage with multipliers increased versus buildings and reduced the damage onto the villagers there. So it shouldn't kill the villagers. The dragon is obviously still going to be really strong, but yeah, this is cool. Hopefully I don't lose the entirety of my army, but hopefully it's still a good god power. You don't want it to be terrible. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Kitsune, more line of sight, happy days. Zuragumo gets a cost reduction and HP increase. I still think this unit is good, even before this changes. So this is just helping other people understand that it's good. So people go and build the Zuragumo and enjoy. Shinobi gets some HP, yes. And also cheaper. Yeah, this unit's got a crazy amount of damage. It's so front-loaded with, not even front-loaded with damage. It's just got so much damage, but it just dies before it even gets to use it. So a little bit more survivability. Make sure you get your infantry techs with it, and I think it's going to be pretty good now. You get 10% HP, 15% HP, and 20% HP by getting those unique techs. Can be very, very strong. All right, Tenali, bottom rate of the Tenali favor income scale increased from 0.25x to 0.5x. This results in twice as much favor earned from Tenali in the late game. We'll monitor the Aztec favor income going forward and see whether further adjustments are needed, either here or on Devotion. So, yeah, the Aztecs' favor did fall off a cliff towards the end of the games, and they do need it for their siege. So, starting would also increase from 225 to 250. This is going to make people getting better with the Archaic Age build orders. All that other good stuff. Fine. I know that Averly will be happy with that one. Which Lepochly. Blood Pact. Damage multiplier on target reduced from 3x to 2.5x. Hit points 3x to 2.5x. Cost reduced from 50 to 40 favor, so you can use it more. And the villagers using it on a villager to actually gather has become much, much stronger. That'll be interesting to see if that's going to be an option or not. I doubt it, but we'll see. I wonder if that changes the build speed rate for the villager. Not sure. The development of Blood Pack aggression was proving to be very strong opening strategy. These changes aim to shift the power budget slightly towards the economic aspect rather than the military. Yeah, I still think this is going to be used for the military here. I still think you're going to have to be terrified of the Blood Pack. But at 2.5x boosted HP, you might be able to kill that Blood Pack unit instead of having to just run from it. All right, Tezcat Lapoka. Obsidian Mirror now inherits the cooldown of the target player's power instead of having to use it over and over and over again. Nice. New bonus. Jaguar Riders are now available 1 age earlier. So Heroic Age Jaguar Riders. Heroic Age Jaguar Riders. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. And Tepeotl's Reach technology, cost reduced from 200 gold, 15 favor to 150 gold, 10 favor. Quetzalcoatl gets bloodletting favor incoming rate increase from 0.1 to 0.015. Warrior Priest favor rate modifier at minimum health reduced from 0.5x to 0.33x. So this is just going to be a more significant reward without affecting the bottom rate. Lovely. We've got ourselves our Starfall God Power from Koyal Zhao Kui. Has become... you get one less Sitsa Middle. It doesn't say it here, but you get one less Sitsa Middle. One less Sitsa Middle. So I think it's doing more damage on the small strikes, but the large strikes go from 3 down to 2. The large strikes are the strikes which spawn that sits in the middle. So one less of those. As the favor also goes down, the repeat cost goes down. Targeting during the power's effect now avoids walls and hurtables. Fantastic. All right, Purge duration increased 5 to 6.5. 5 to 6.5. Favor area is now weighted 10 to 1. So it is treated as more valuable when summoning the total. Good. So the thing that was an issue with this is that you could drop it onto a bunch of very high value Mythic Age myth units in the early Mythic Age or even middle Mythic Age, late game. And you could kill I think you could kill 4 or 5 Fafnir. Didn't make sense. I think you should be able to kill 2 Fafnir with the God Power, but yeah. And that's how much it's probably going to be now. But you can also run away from it easier because it takes a bit longer to pop. Wings of its Papalotl gets less movement speed and less special attack damage. I did the slightest of tests with this one. Villagers will survive in the Heroic Age with that special, but the Mythic Age comes around and your villagers will get 1 hit unless they have themselves survival equipment. I recommend versus this unit to get survival equipment. I also recommend to treat it with the respect that it is due and wall your map. If you do not wall your map and you die to the Obsidian Butterfly and you get annoyed, you only have yourself to blame. Protect your villagers. Okay, Serpent Skirt. Adjusted as follows. Anaconda sporting from large buildings go up. Wonders go up. Anaconda hit points go up. Damage increase from 18 to 40 hack. Attack interval reduced from 2.2 to 2.0. So this is 20 hack damage per second. Wait, what? Isn't that insane? Isn't that really, really high? Am I missing something? Anacondas have a 60. Oh, I see. The idea here, this is where the power budget goes. Okay. So the idea here is you kill the building, anacondas spawn, and you basically either have to kill the anacondas to keep on pushing. They are pretty strong, but not that strong. 120 HP isn't that much. You got to kill the anaconda, or it's going to do a ton of damage, or you got to bail on the area and the anaconda dies. Okay, it might be OP. That might be really, really strong, and it's going to be impossible to kill a Aztec player who grabs that technology. I don't know. We'll see. We got Atlantan. This is Volcano. It just avoids stuff. Okay, there's nothing really there. Slalok, attack range increased, hit points increased, crush armor increased. Wow. That god power is, I thought it was good. And so, I mean, it gets buffed, but not really crazy buffed. That's not crazy. It's just a little bit more like tanky versus the siege. You get a little bit more time to play with it. Solid Qs, this one goes from 100 gold down to 75 gold. So instead of getting like 1300 gold, you're probably going to get like 75 times 13, whatever that is. Okay. Corrupted Ground now spawns 8 Deuterinos in the area when cast. So these are the units that would spawn when you kill any units on top of that thing. I think the idea here is that the units will spawn and they'll all attack immediately. And that's going to make it a little bit more tricky to actually just straight run from Corrupted Ground, which is what the best play would be right now. Either way, Corrupted Ground still is going to be a god power you want to surround your enemy and then drop it. So it's an offensive god power, not a defensive god power when you actually have the units. Maka's Quat, the snake dude from Malinal, is cheaper on favor and has a little bit more survivability. Fine. The Sensen Totochitin is now 5.0 speed and eats faster. Not going to lie, I'm holding out. I am absolutely holding out for Veteran C4 rabbits unlocking the special ability that the Tiger Cav has. I am holding out. I'm holding out for that. That's what I want more than anything else. I'm going to say it one more time just in case there's a dev out here who's listening. Veteran C4 rabbits. Jumpy rabbit. Come on, make it happen. I know you want to make it happen. It will be so much fun. Okay, I got Touchly, Collision. Okay, Wrecking Ball damage. Deals ability damage dealt to units. Hits increase from 0.05 to 1 to account for fixing damage dealt multiplier. Okay. Obsidian Butterfly. Special damage goes down. Special damage goes down. Hack armor increased. So it gets a little bit more survivability, actually. Thought it got nerfed there, but more survivability and less damage. Okay. I don't know if I like that, but okay. What? It's fine. All right. Tunkalachu has been made cheaper, faster to train, and less. The thing with this unit is you need multiple of them for it to be working. It's not very good by itself. But if you have 3 or 4 of them out, then you use the special, and then you use the special, and then you use the special, and you use the special, and that 25% chance to die on all those units ends up actually becoming guaranteed kills for a lot of units that in the fight. So it can be a really, really strong unit there. Kinemetsen becomes cheaper and all this stuff as pierce damage goes up. Okay, cool. This unit was a little underwhelming. And the large scorpion from the infestation god power added a unit cost of 100 food, 3 favor, so that it would be susceptible to things like curse, and that's good. Okay, human units. Commission Spy goes faster. Spearman has been gold reduced, but food increased. So this is technically a little bit more expensive, but lower gold cost means harder to get gold staff. So it's a little bit better in that regard, right? Wait, no, that's incorrect. This is cheaper. I thought about it the wrong way. The whole entire thing is just cheaper. Never mind. Tequila Archer is also just cheaper. Happy days. Coyote Warrior, PS damage. Wait. Okay, PS armor increased from 45% to 55%. I think that is in... I think this unit's going to be really, really good now. I think. but people weren't using it at all. So it goes from not being used at all because everyone doesn't want to use it to being really good. We'll see. Still dies very quickly to the hack damage dealing units and things like that, but that should mean that like it's basically the Coyote Warrior is a raiding cavalry, but infantry style. So it needs to have more pierce armor than the raiding cavalry because there's units that have bonus damage versus it. So this should account for that. That's the idea. All right. Atlantan this is the Atlantan Smasher, the siege unit, is now cheaper. It did get more hit points, but its hack armor was reduced. I don't mind that. That's fine. It wasn't really squishy for its pop. It was just expensive. But taking the hack armor down and putting the hit points up means that it's going to survive for longer against Pierce. And of course, it's going to survive a similar amount against hack because it's happened. So it did get a little bit more tanky, but definitely cheaper is good. So this is just going to be a really good unit to make. And then the warrior priest has become less strong, more strong, cheaper, and more tanky. So less DPS. I'm hoping this means that they're going to be it's going to be a lot less alluring to go for crazy warrior priest ideas where you just charge and you just attack nonstop. Do you know what I mean? Or you just build nothing but warrior priests. Because they shouldn't. You should be building warrior priests to kill myth units, not to fight your battles for you. You don't build like mass priests to fight Contarius. You know what I mean? Tajikla goes up in cost, goes up in damage versus myth units, goes up in weight class, and I think that's the same for everything. Yeah, it's all just a boost for the Tajikla against myth, and it is just less damage, right? No less damage. All the same damage, but this one is. Okay. So it's just bonuses versus myth units, making them do better against myth units. Okay. Buildings, the Tzumplay Tower culture reduced from 10% to 10%. Food and wood drop off resource conversion rate to gold increased from 10% to 20%. Interesting. There might be some world where going early craft workshop is actually viable as opposed to going for basically always going for the livestock pen as your sort of win. Spike trap, cheaper. I'm not sure this is worth building yet. I'll definitely try it. Make sure you make a whole bunch of spike traps and see how it feels. But I'm feeling like the spike traps value is sitting somewhere around 50 wood in my guesstimate of how much it actually does. I feel like it's around 50 wood, but it's a feeling. I've got nothing like empirical data. So 80 wood, time to try it and give feedback on whether or not the spike trap is feeling spiky and trappy. Farms availability moved from archaic to classical age. Aztecs are nerfed to the unplayable. And the advanced trap, smoke traps now slow more. Beautiful. And then we got random maps. Okay. Removed an unintentional extra gold mine that would spawn when playing in 1v1s. Okay. So I don't think there's any changes to the actual ranked multiplayer thing. Campaign's getting some extra shenanigans here. I feel like these ones, they're more fun to just jump in and play the campaign again if you've already played the Obsidian Mirror campaigns. I don't really want to read what's going on there and spoil any if you haven't, because I haven't finished it yet. So if there's any changes in there and you go and try it again, happy days. This is all the modding stuff. I don't really know anything about this, so enjoy for everyone who does. Read through it. And there seems like there's a lot of stuff here, actually. And that's it. The team remains focused on refining and enhancing the Age Mythology retold experience. Our current efforts are centered on improving overall gameplay balance, addressing additional bugs, and ensuring a more consistent player experience across the board. Thank you so much, dev team. This is looking like it's going to be a very fun patch to play on. And it should be really interesting to see if the bugs have been dealt with and if the game is feeling like a awesome game to play without having to deal with anything else. So very big thumbs up from me. I'm happy to give it a go. Massive patch. Let's play some Gimmity games. GG's.